Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive in deep today.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
We're tackling human nature, trying to get a glimpse behind the curtain, and we've got this Chinese text, doesn't pull any punches.
Ooh, I like those. Lay it on me.
Well, right off the bat, compares human nature to the sun, too bright to look at directly.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
And then, bam, hits us with proverbs like, heaven is beautiful, yet few venture there.
We've all felt that pull, right? The tough climb, even when the view's amazing.
Exactly. Or, money is sinful, yet everyone strives to attain it. Like, we know some things are tricky.
But we're drawn to them anyway. It's that contradiction at the heart of it all. Desire versus knowing better.
And this text, it doesn't just point that out, it digs deeper. Envy disguised as happiness, fear looking like disdain.
It's all about the masks, right? This text gives examples, different walks of life. Imagine your lawyer secretly hoping your case crumbles.
Oh, that's dark.
Or a doctor, maybe not all doctors, but the text says some might see your illness.
As job security, not that they'd ever say it.
Exactly. A mechanic eyeing your perfectly fine car, thinking, give it time. It's unsettling.
Makes you wonder, behind every smile, what's the real motive?
That's the point. We project our own stuff, success or misfortune. It gets filtered through our internal lens.
We're all playing roles, huh? Speaking of which, how we react to other success, that gets interesting.
Especially those closest to us. You'd think we'd be thrilled for loved ones, but
it's not always sunshine and rainbows.
right, because that's where our own insecurities fester. Someone close to us does well, suddenly we're measuring ourselves against them.
Makes sense. This text uses this metaphor, people praising the smell of cooking meat.
But then complaining about the dirty dishes afterward.
Spot on. We glamorize the outcome, forget the work, the sacrifices. Everyone's got their hidden struggles.
And recognizing that's where empathy comes in, not just for others, but for ourselves too.
Seeing the full picture. Okay, this next bit really made me think. Most people living in an illusion, mistaking what society expects for their own desires.
Ooh, that's a big one. True freedom, that's terrifying for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because then you're responsible.
No more blaming the system, it's on you.
Exactly. And facing the unknown, figuring out who you are outside of all those expectations, that takes guts.
So it's easier to just conform, even if it means.
Losing yourself a little bit along the way, it's a common trap. But this text, it offers the strategy, learn to praise others.
Wait, is that manipulative?
Could be, on the surface, but think deeper. When we're genuine in our compliments, it fights that negativity, the comparison game.
Instead of tearing others down, we lift them up.
And maybe in doing so, we lift ourselves up a little too. Creates a better environment for everyone.
So like a win-win.
Exactly. And speaking of wins, this text has an interesting take on money. Not inherently corrupting, but a magnifier.
A magnifier?
It takes what's already there and turns up the volume. Generous person. Wealth might make them incredibly charitable.
But if they're greedy to begin with?
It can make them a force to be reckoned with, and not in a good way. Money just shows us who we really are.
Money is a mirror. I like that. So money, not the villain we thought, but it can expose the villain within, maybe? And this text, it doesn't stop there, it goes right for the good old family dynamic.
Families, fertile ground for this stuff. It's like, those who treat family poorly, they go looking for validation elsewhere.
Overcompensating?
Could be.
Yeah.
And those who are all sunshine and roses in public might be neglecting the ones closest to them.
Facade, huh? So much for judging a book by its cover.
Exactly. Even go so far as to say introverted types might have deeper affection than the life of the party.
Because when the chips are down, they're the ones who show up.
That quiet support, it runs deep. Makes you think, what does genuine connection look like? How do we judge that, listener?
Are we giving enough credit to the quiet ones? Or maybe are WE being too loud, missing the real deal?
It's a good question for all of us. And then, bam, this line. In financial matters, true virtue lies in doing good when poor, executing well when wealthy.
Consistency, no matter what's in your bank account. Easier said than done when those dollar signs start piling up.
It's a test, isn't it? Because, like the text says, true friendships emerge in hardship, while superficial connections flourish in success.
Adversity, that's the crucible. But this text, it gets intense, talking about how many weak individuals are also malevolent.
It's not saying all of them, important to remember that. More like, when people lack power, it can fester. It's about recognizing power dynamics change behavior.
So that guy who's all smiles when he's got nothing.
Give him a little power, see what happens. Not always bad, but something to watch for, right?
Trust your gut. Okay, this text, it's big on looking beyond the surface, but then it gets even more cynical.
Yeah.
Deceptive words, especially about love and money.
Promises made, then conveniently forgotten once someone's got what they want. Classic.
Talk is cheap, actions speak louder. We've all been burned by that, haven't we, listener?
It stings. And then it gets deeper. Conversations about money often harden individuals, while discussions about feelings can create insincerity. Heavy stuff.
So, money makes us cold. Talking feelings makes us fake. Lose-lose situation.
Not quite. It's about finding that balance. Too far in either direction, pure logic or pure emotion, it's unsustainable.
That sweet spot where your head and your heart are somewhat aligned. Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, this next part's interesting. Complimenting others is always prudent, particularly when unsure of what to say.
Wait, so just butter people up.
Not exactly. It goes on. Pretending to be naive can mitigate conflict, especially when seeing through the complexities around us.
Pick your battles, right? Sometimes playing a little dumb keeps the peace.
It's about conserving your energy for what matters, and what matters ultimately, that internal compass. Does money corrupt people? Not necessarily. It merely reveals one's true self.
Full circle, back to that mirror analogy.
It's all there from the beginning. Money just gives it a bigger stage. Someone naturally giving, wealth lets them do amazing things, but someone who's always grabbing for more.
They're going to leave a trail of destruction in their wake. It's on us to know the difference.
And that's where self-awareness comes in. What are your values? Because success, failure, money, it's all going to test them.
And when that test comes, the text has this advice for how we treat others. The best way to console someone is to confess your own faults, dispelling any grandeur. Excessive boasting only emphasizes another's suffering.
Humility, it goes a long way. No need to put on airs, especially when someone's hurting.
Meet them where they are. This text, it's big on empathy, but then it goes right back to comparison being the thief of joy. Many suffer not from mediocrity or poverty, but from witnessing the success of those around them.
The greener grass, it gets us every time.
We're hardwired for it, right? Compare and despair.
And the text even says, even the wealthiest individuals can feel lowly if their peers excel, while mediocre people can find contentment in the company of those less fortunate. It's all relative.
So that billionaire who's still comparing his yacht size.
He's missing the point. Our worth, it's not a competition, though we sure do treat it like one, don't we? Speaking of which, this next part, defense mechanisms, how we protect our egos.
Oh, this is good. Lay on me.
Human dignity necessitates a self-defense mechanism. When encountering exceptional achievements, we often convince ourselves that they were mere flukes.
Discounting other people's success to make ourselves feel better? Ouch, that's relatable.
Right. Because acknowledging someone else's hard work, their talent, it means,
We might have to work harder too.
or heaven forbid, we might just not be as talented, hard pill to swallow. So instead,
We tear them down. They got lucky. They knew the right people.
classic. And it gets worse. The text goes on, people often scrutinize those who excel, eager to expose their flaws, believing this validates their own shortcomings. They prefer to assert the mediocrity of others rather than confront their own inadequacies. Talk about a gut punch.
We'd rather everyone be mediocre, including ourselves, than face the music.
Because then we'd have to do something about it, right? Change is hard.
So much easier to just stew in that negativity soup. Okay, this text, it's not holding back any punches, but what about love? Surely there's some hope there.
You want some romance. Buckle up. Romantic boys may appear charming, but are often emotionally barren, while hurt girls, starved of affection, fall prey to such charms.
Danger, danger. Don't get swept up in the fantasy.
Charm fades. Substance, that's what lasts.
Word to the wise, listener. Okay, this text, it's given us a lot to think about, but if we had to boil it down to one key takeaway.
It's about seeing clearly. This line sums it up. People wear countless masks and their hearts are ever changing. Speak cautiously and don't take everything at face value.
Trust no one.
Not quite. It's more trust but verify. Keep your eyes open. It goes on. In this cold world, true intentions can remain hidden beneath layers of pretense.
So we should be a little suspicious.
Not suspicious, just discerning. This text, it's not about making us cynical, it's about awareness.
Understanding the game so we can choose how we play.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, knowing all this, it helps us be a little kinder, a little more forgiving.
Because we're all just out here trying to figure it out.
Wearing our masks, hoping someone sees through them.
So it's like this text, it's not giving us all the answers, but it is handing us a flashlight. Right. To see through the fog, those masks everyone's wearing.
It's about upgrading our perception. Not about becoming cynical, but aware, using what we see wisely.
Because, yeah, we've all been that person, haven't we?
Yeah.
Putting on a brave face, hiding our true motives sometimes. This text, it's not judging, it's explaining.
Exactly. It's saying, hey, this is how it is. Now you can work with it, not against it. Recognizing those patterns in ourselves and others, that's where the real change happens.
So less judgment, more understanding. Makes sense. But this line, that last one you shared, in this cold world, true intentions can remain hidden beneath layers of pretense. That's kind of ominous, isn't it? What are we supposed to do with that?
It's a reminder to stay sharp, right? To not just take things at face value, to listen to that inner voice, that gut feeling, not assuming the worst, but not being naive either.
Protecting ourselves, but not shutting everyone out. How do we walk that line?
It's about balance, like we were saying earlier, that sweet spot between logic and emotion. We've got these amazing brains, but we've also got to listen to our intuition. It's all connected. And most importantly, remember, everyone else is working with the same flawed hardware.
We're all just making it up as we go.
Pretty much. But that's what makes it interesting, right? This whole messy, beautiful human experience. We're all in it together, even when it doesn't feel like it. So, to our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep that flashlight charged.
And remember, sometimes the most profound truths are found in the most unlikely places, like maybe even a deep dive into an ancient Chinese text. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Until next time.